Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a book review, and this is inspired by Elle Fowler, All That Glitters 21. It's inspired because she did her White Queen book review, and I read that book, and I also read The Red Queen. According to Elle, the book you read, you feel for the Queen's side. So if you read the White Queen first, you'd feel for the White Queen. And I read that, but for some reason, I was more for the Red Queen. I think it's because of how she grew up and how she had to hurry up and how she had no love or care for her. But the first book I'm going to review is Mermaid by Carol Turgeon. Now this book is just like this book is The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen. I will never be able to watch The Little Mermaid by Disney again without thinking about this book, because this is probably my favorite version of the book because it gives it depth. So let me go ahead and read the back of the book to you, or the description. Okay. Two sheltered princesses, one wounded warrior, who will live happily ever after. Princess Margaret has been hidden away while her kingdom is at war. One gloomy, windswept morning, as she stands in a convent garden overlooking the icy sea, she witnesses a miracle, a glittering mermaid emerging from the waves, a nearly drowned man in her arms. By the time Margaret reaches the shore, the mermaid has disappeared into the sea. As Margaret nurses the handsome stranger back to health, she learns that not only is he a prince, but he is also the son of her father's greatest rival. Sure that the mermaid brought this man for her to a reason, or brought this man to her for a reason, Margaret devises a plan to bring her kingdom to peace. Meanwhile, the mermaid Princess Linnea longs to return the human man she carried to safety. She's willing to trade her home, her voice, even her health for legs and the chance to win his heart. A surprising take on the classic tale, Mermaid is the story of two women with everything to lose. It will make you think twice about the fairy tale you heard as a child, keeping you in suspense until the very last page. So I actually read this on the way to Montana. I could not stop reading this. I mean, not that I really had a choice, because there was nothing else to do in the car besides read, but I could not put this thing down. This is one of the best books I've ever had. The only thing that is kind of weird is her hair is red on the cover, and in the book it's supposed to be like this really white blonde. So I think this is for Disney, because I guess it's an appeal, and I love this book. It's one of my favorite books now. It's really, I'm trying to find a way to describe it. I wouldn't suggest this book for people under 14 or 13 because there are some scenes in it, but they're not that bad. This is definitely the adult version of The Little Mermaid, and it's a little bit more believable than the Disney version. And I don't know what else to say. I love it. My book just fell on me. The Red Queen. Anyways, I really suggest this book. And the ending, I suggest that you read the Hans Christian Andersen version of the fairy tale and then read this, or you compare the Disney and the Hans Christian Andersen, because Hans Christian Andersen is like the real Little Mermaid, before you read this, and the ending is not too terrible like the fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen. Now moving on to The White and the Red Queen. Okay, well, The White Queen, I do agree with Elle. I love how it has the story of the fairy tale story Melusina, which it also kind of ties in with Mermaid, because they're both about mermaids. Well, I guess Melusina is a mermaid, and she is descended from Elizabeth Woodville is descended from Melusina, who is a mermaid, like I just said. Anyways, I love the English history and stuff, so of course I would love this book, and I cannot wait for the next book in the series, which is about her mother, Jacquetta, who was in the French court, and she was also on the Tudor side, or the Lancaster/Tudor side. At first, and then she switched to the York side after her daughter Elizabeth, which is the protagonist of this book, wins the king's heart. Now, the king, I'm not gonna lie, is a pervert, which is like a lot of guys. But like, he still loves Elizabeth more than all the other girls. But I don't know. When I think of those times, I think of chivalry and knights and shining armor, although that was a little bit afterwards. That was in medieval times, and this was the 1500s, or 1500s. I'm not sure. I haven't read this book in a month, but my camera was gone, so yeah. But I still remember. I really like this book, though. Not as much as the Red Queen, because her life was, I don't want to say it was easy, because it wasn't, but it was a lot more easier than Margaret Beaufort's. I loved this book. I laughed. I cried. I felt for her. I felt for her. What I kind of don't like about the time, though, is women were just made for having babies. It's just so sad, because all she wanted to do was open her own convent, and she couldn't, because she was the only daughter of her mother, and let me try and find a way to say this. She was the only daughter, and she could have a baby, and he would be king. So she was the only heir that could produce an heir, or she was the only one that could produce an heir to be king. So she was married when she was 12. She never had love in her life. All she wanted was a convent, and she just kept God on her side the whole time, which I really love. And her mother even told her that she's ugly, and she didn't even care for her. All she wanted was a baby. I think that's the saddest thing ever. I mean, to have your family not care about you is crazy. I mean, back then, usually that's what they had that kept them going, but because women didn't really have rights. So they had their mothers. But Margaret didn't. And not only that, but she was separated from her child for most of her life, because he was in training and stuff to be the next king. But it's still really sad. I know that if I were in her shoes, I would be very depressed. But I really recommend this book. Yeah, words cannot describe how much I love this book. I don't know. Read it. You'll like it. Trust me. Also read The White Queen. I mean, it's good too. I felt more for Margaret Beaufort than Elizabeth Woodville. And that was my first book review, and I hope you liked it. I know I didn't go very in-depth because I'm in a hurry and I have to go somewhere soon. But if you want me to do a more intensive review of books next time, just tell me, because this was mostly just opinions. This wasn't really really what the book was about. It was just what I thought about it. So I hope you enjoy, and if you, I don't know, tell me your opinions on the books if you read them. And yeah, have a nice day.